Hey, everybody. Fascinating and important topic today as we talk about pushing the envelope in AI-driven threat intelligence orchestration and collective defense with a true innovator in this space at Cyware. Jawahar, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much, Evan. Pleasure to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. Really intrigued by your mission and background with a long history in this industry, companies like Splunk, Cisco, and many more. Maybe introduce yourself and what is the vision mission at Cyware?
Yeah, you're right. So I've been in the industry for a while now. Big places as well as relatively smaller places. It's VC funded, PE back. Super excited to be here at Cyber. I'm 11 months in, and what got me to Cyber is the need for the industry to focus on threat-centered architectures, which is what we've been lacking. Typically, there's just plenty of noise that you see going around. Um, there's no lack of tools. There's no lack of data. But then when it comes to, hey, let's focus on high fidelity, high priority actions that I need to be taking as a CISO, we definitely were behind as an industry. So that's what Cyware does. We were founded in 2018 as a company, and we're a leader in cyber threat intelligence. We started as a threat intelligence platform player, if you will, back 5, 6 years back. But where we've evolved as a true leader in broad cyber threat intelligence, but not just cyber threat intelligence, what we've been doing the past few quarters now, which I would love to double click as we go through the conversation, is adding what we have seen as adjacent areas like exposure management, like some of the DRP, digital risk protection functionalities. They're all coming into this CTI world, the cyber threat intelligence world, and we're actually leading the industry with that. So just a couple of weeks back, Gartner came up with a paper that's unified cyber risk intelligence, and we were super excited, high-fiving that it exactly validates our strategy, our product approach, the things that we've been innovating in the last year and a half.
Brilliant. And you're leaning heavily and early into agentic AI for threat intelligence and response. Maybe talk about the spark behind that.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of AI washing that's going on in the industry. So for us, the focus was we did not want to go out and build another LLM wrapper that would do one or a few things. We wanted to take a holistic approach. So our quarterback AI fabric is focused on having that holistic agentic AI approach. We did launch an MCP server a couple of months back, right at Black Hat. But what we are seeing is we're leaning in, we're leading the space as it relates to threat intelligence, but also broader SOC and SOC transformation, autonomous SOC, if you will. And again, going back to our roots, our strengths, which is threat intelligence. So there are plenty of players that are doing SOC automation, autonomous SOC. And again, why Cyber? Why the leadership? That why Cyber is the right leader for us for the industry to lean on as it relates to agentic AI capabilities for broader SOC and security operations. Clearly goes back to our strengths in threat intelligence.
Interesting. So, what's a common blind spot that you see typically in enterprises when it comes to acting on threat intelligence versus just, collecting it?
Yeah, so there are two ways to look at it. One is enterprises, another one is just threat sharing, but they're all coming
Hmm.
together. Let me hit the enterprise side first. The common blind spots that we see is still a lot of enterprises are chasing the noise, if I can put it that way. Large enterprises, Fortune 1000, Fortune 2000, almost all of them, they have a mature SIM technology. Maybe they had a first gen SOAR that they're moving towards an AI driven SOAR. But clearly, where they lack is yes, they're doing log management. Yes, they're doing event prioritization. Yes, they are responding to events, but still the alert fatigue is there because they're not looking at the right events to prioritize, which again goes back to do you have relevant threat information coming in? Is it standards based? Are you leveraging STIX for standards based threat analysis? Do you have those threat information, that the threat information coming from the right sources? It could be open source, it could be commercially available feeds. Are you processing them, enriching them the right way? A lot of times what we see is, customers, even in the Fortune 500, when we go talk to them for the first time, they have indicators of compromise, IOCs coming in, but they don't do the right level of enrichment of those IOCs to then take an informed decision about what do you do with that threat, right? So there are these gaps that you see across all of the stages, if you will, from threat information collecting to parsing to enrichment to there's a little bit of collaboration, and then of course the prioritization and eventually the actioning part. So we do see gaps across the board, but if I can summarize it, uh, it's really, people are still getting drowned in the noise, and alert fatigue is real. And when we look at those enterprises that are looking into the future, that see, hey, I need to take a more threat-centered approach, and that's how I can scale with limited budget, skill set gaps that continue to persist. Those are the enterprises that at least definitely in the last 2-3 years, they've taken that step to move towards that threat-centered approach.
Interesting. So attackers are evolving with Gen AI, to say the least. It's a revolution in terms of the tools they have available. What kind of attacks or tactics or techniques are you watching now that maybe a lot of defenders aren't?
Yeah, AI is definitely, I mean, it's still early days, how attackers are using AI itself as a tool. So again, this is where both sides come into play, right? AI for security and then security for AI. So we're clearly seeing the adoption of AI as it increases. It is opening up new threat vectors. The attack surface itself is changing. It's getting bigger, and attackers are starting to use that as a way to get into the enterprise or a government organization. We're starting to see that. But what's also equally important is how some of these organizations are leveraging AI for getting their security posture to a better
Mhm.
place. And this is where we're super excited with what we are doing with the Agentic AI capabilities, especially around automating some of the tasks that, again, security automation is not anything new. We've had, pull scripts, Python scripts, we've been doing it for 25, 30 years now in the industry. But this is not about just automating the processes. This is about bringing it all together, take an integrated approach as it relates to driving better security principles as an outcome, right? Which is kind of where we are lacking. And if you look at the advanced threats that are coming in, that approach is absolutely critical.
Absolutely. And threat sharing is critical as well, but there's trust is often missing there, can be very fragile. How do you balance openness and insecurity with intelligence collaboration? What's your philosophy there?
Great question, right? So far we've talked about threat intelligence management,
Hmm.
which is all about, getting threat information, enriching that information, acting on them. Then there's this other thing, which is all about, hey, how do you share that threat information? Because at the end of the day, it's almost like the the adversaries in some ways are better at sharing information in dark web, deep web. And in some of the sectors, when you look at it, we as an industry, we have to step up when it comes to bidirectional threat sharing. So that is something that we are super proud of as a company. So we do work with almost all of the major ISACs for bidirectional threat sharing. And this is, focused on sectors, focused on industries. We've also built hubs and certs at the government level. We also have other hubs, threat sharing hubs, if you will, bidirectional threat sharing hubs.
Mm.
That's a little more focused, if you will. Let's say sports teams, clubs that we can drive, or businesses that do have supply chain and downstream entities that they do want to share threat information. So we built that. We're super proud of that, especially the work that we do, the partnership we do with the ISACs. Um, it has come a long way, I would say. Hey, we're much better than where we were a few
Hmm.
years ago. but still needs a lot of work as it relates to sharing that threat intelligence at the right level, but also helping some of those downstream organizations. Again, I go back to downstream because they might not have, not, let alone a CTI, cyber threat intelligence analyst. They might not even have a SOC analyst. Maybe they'll have an
Mm,
IT manager. If you're a member of one of these hubs, they might have an IT manager that's doing all things security as well. So what do you do with that threat information that's coming to you? So this is where cyber is very focused on helping those organizations uh, respond to those threats, and in many ways proactively defend themselves from those threats, right? So that it's not always reactive, that a hub shares a certain piece of threat information and you're acting on it, but help them with proactive threat defense.
fantastic. So lots of media and press about how AI will be augmenting human analysts in SecOps and the balance of work, sharing of labor, if you will. What's your approach there? How do you see this rolling out over the next 3 years?
Yeah, there is a role for humans to play. That's not going to change. I think, as with anything that we've seen in the industry over the course of the last, almost 30 years that I've been in the industry, some of the work that humans are doing today, the mundane, the repetitive tasks, can certainly be done much better, a lot more efficiently through agents, which is what we are seeing in the initial deployments that we are working with some of our customers. And what that means is humans do scale up to higher value tasks. It could be a tier one triage, tier one actioning is done by agents. But some of those SOC analysts or CTI analysts that were
Mm,
doing tier one activities, they move on to higher level activities and tasks that can truly drive better risk management, enterprise risk management. This is beyond cybersecurity. I mean, cybersecurity is having enterprise level impact. So some of those human capital, some of that human capital can be deployed towards higher level tasks that can then result in better security posture for the enterprise itself.
fantastic. You must have so many really amazing, gratifying case studies of how you're helping customers. It's notoriously difficult to get those anecdotes or real use cases to public, but can you share anything as far as how you're helping shorten response times or even preventing various impacts?
Yeah, without naming any of the names,
Okay.
right? So we work with large enterprises that do rely on us for advanced threat intelligence, what we call as unified threat intelligence management. And where we are super proud is our work that, especially the last 2-3 quarters that we have done, scaling beyond the traditional threat intelligence platform. So we have a few customers, a handful of customers in the last, I would say, let's say the 6 months or so, where they've scaled beyond threat intelligence platform capabilities to add exposure management capabilities, like compromised credential management as an example. Or we've had a handful of customers that did have a separate malware sandboxing, which was a solution that sat outside that they integrated in. So the results, what they've gotten is mean time to detect, mean time to respond has gone down significantly. Their security efficacy has gone up overall. They have better control over state-sponsored threat actors, especially based on all the information that we're helping them with. Uh, these customers that we work with over the course of the last several years, what they've also consistently said, especially at the top end of the enterprise, is, I know who my adversaries are. I know their techniques, their tactics, their procedures now much better than before. I had Cyware.
Mm,
And I'm able to respond to those threats, number one. But number two, I'm also able to continuously learn and get that intelligence because the adversaries are changing. It could be commercial actors, it could be state sponsored actors. But because I do have this knowledge and I'm acting on this threat information, I am able to constantly learn about the threats that I'm facing and the actors that are coming at me. And I'm able to report that to the board, report that to my CEO much, much better than where I was a few years ago. And especially if you're a public company, that means a lot because you might have been flying blind, but now you know, hey, who are the actors that are adversaries that are coming after you? Yeah, I've blocked these, which is good, but I also have that good intelligence to know how these actors are changing over time, and that puts me at a better place for me to proactively defend myself and my enterprise over time.
Wow, what a fantastic vision. And you're clearly doubling down, investing in the future. What's your next frontier or moonshot in terms of threat intelligence broadly? What are you thinking about 3, 4, 5 years, maybe that most people aren't talking about?
I wouldn't even say moonshot. That's right here. That's not even 3, 4, 5 years out of it. I would say definitely a lot of agentic AI capabilities that we're building up, and we're going to bring it out to the market in a big way. So you would hear from us in the near future. So that's definitely a big focus for us. We're also very much focused on strategic
Mm.
partnerships with smaller players, medium-sized, big players, all of that. So again, in a couple of weeks, you'll hear some big announcements coming out from Cyware. Because at the end of the day, this is a team sport, and then might come across as a cliche, but that is the fact. Cybersecurity is a team sport. So we're working with many of our alliance partners to uh, give that platform that our customers are really looking for. And we're super proud to partner, especially with some of the big players that we are, having strategic partnerships with. And then the third one that I would point out is um, thinking beyond threat intelligence. So there's so much more that customers are asking cyber threat intelligence platforms to do, and that includes, again, as I mentioned, compromised credentials. If I have some of my credentials compromised and shared in the deep web, dark web, I want to know about that. That was not traditionally in the CTI umbrella. Clearly, we're seeing that. Domain sightings is another one that we did, kind of domain monitoring, domain sightings. So we're seeing some of those things also getting integrated. So our goal is to be that leading platform when it comes to, yes, all things cyber threat intelligence, but also other things that customers in the industry certainly asking us and others to do, and we're leading the pack there. So AI, agentic AI, definitely strong partnerships, alliances with all sizes. And then number three is providing the platform approach where we can certainly help our customers beyond what legacy tip players did.
Well, amazing progress. Congratulations on the success, and customers are waiting for what's next. And it's just great to hear the progress with Agentic AI, and I'll be sure to look you up at RSA, which I guess is only a few months away now in San Francisco. Thanks so much for sharing the vision and mission.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's a great opportunity to share where we are going, and honestly, where we are in today and the benefits that customers are seeing as they embrace our platform. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jawahar. And thanks everyone for listening, watching. Also, separately check out our TV show at techimpact.tv, now on Bloomberg and Fox Business. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jawahar.